So breaking news, 24 kidnapped school girls from Kebbi State are now free. 24 school girls from Kebbi State are now free after how many days in captivity?
Okay, Bismillah.
My name is Zainab Polo from SS3A.
Okay, student of?
GGCS Ismail.
Okay, number 1, Kenanko?
Yes.
You?
Fatima Sanizm from SS2A. From GGCS Ismail.
Okay, number what?
3. Mariam Usman.
Okay.
JSS3A.
Okay, you?
Salima Sanizm.
Okay.
SS3A.
Number what?
Number 5.
Oh, number 4. You number?
6.
Number 5.
5. Now SS3A.
Okay, who is the next number?
6.
Okay, your name? The next number? Number what?
Number 7. Najatu Abdullah from SS3.
Okay.
Mariam Elias.
Call your number first. Number what?
Number 8.
Mariam
Elias from SS3A.
Next one.
Number 9. Amina Elias.
SS3A.
Number 10. Jamila Elias. SS3A. Number 11.
Number 12.
Number 12.
Stand up. Class. Next one. 13. Who is 13? Who is 14?
14. Salima Garba Umar SS3A.
15. Number 16. Okay, 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. Is there another person? Is there just 24 of you?
Yes.
Okay, today's date is 25th
Yes.
of November.
Yes.
And the time now is 10 minutes to 6. So God's willing, you'll be going home free. Inshallah. All right. I wish all of you the best. Thank you. All right.
So guys, there is a breaking news out there. Take a look. It says, breaking news, the federal government has banned open grazing by cattle rearers as part of efforts to curb the persistent farmer herders conflict across the country. The question remains, do we have farmer herders crisis, or do we have terrorists invading Nigeria, wanting to take over the country and to Islamize it? Why is it that the government tries to paint all these things, different colors? How come he's saying this is a farmer herders crisis? Is there any farmer crying about, that the herders are trying to, stop him or her from going to the farm? These are people who are coming to take over Nigeria. They believe that Nigeria belongs to them. They said the British handed over Nigeria to the Fulani, so it is their country. As in, we are like strangers. They are the real owners of this country. Guess what? This banning of open grazing by the federal government has been met with a lot of reactions from Nigerians. Nigerians are saying they don't just want to see headline, that they want to see it being implemented, and they should also put measures on ground to enforce this open grazing ban in Nigeria. Want to see it being enforced? Are there task force that is going to be created to ensure? Because guess what? During the time of Buhari, people created the same thing. There was, anti-open grazing bills that were signed into laws, especially in the PDP states. But guess what? The Fulanis defied all those open grazing laws. They were still going out. Even Wike, some people have been mocking him on the social media, saying when Wike came to Abuja, Wike actually said it's not there going to see cows on the street. But guess what? Now Wike is silent because the people that own the land, you cannot dare them. The Fulanis, they believe they own Nigeria. You can see how Tinubu is behaving as if he has lost his senses when it comes to handling security, because he's scared. He's short of words. He doesn't know what to say so as not to provoke the northerners, and that is why they are calling it farmer herders crisis, and they say Nigerians shouldn't call it genocide upon all the people that have been killed. People will be in their houses at night, you will set them ablaze. People will be in their houses at night, you break into their rooms and use machete to like slice them, and then you say it's farmer herders. Who and who is quarreling on the farm? So guys, this is what the government is doing that is not even helping these things, because if you've not called this thing in its right name, the perpetrators will not want to learn their lessons. So guys, I'm just going to take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians as people are wondering what is the Tinubu's government trying to do. I'm just going to be reading out these reactions the way they come, both those that are in support and those that are not in support. Let me take you through some of the reactions. Like this person here said, no be to talk something, but not to enforce them. That's what this person said. Another person here say they can't try it. It's just for the news. Yariba, including their leaders, are Fulani puppets. It's just like saying bail is free, but don't pay, and let's see how you will leave the police station. So it's just for the news. They are not serious. So guys, that's what this person is saying, that the Tinubu's government cannot dare it because it's just, they just want to please America. You know, recently when the Kwara State Church was attacked, the 38 victims have been released, and Nigerians are asking how were they released, under what condition, that they are just doing this to please America, to tell America that they are working. But you can imagine that, you know, the spokesperson for the Tinubu's government came out to say that the military and the DSS called the bandits, that the security personnel, that they know who the bandits are, they have their contact, they contacted them and told them to release their victims and to release them. So guys, a whole long story under the Tinubu's government, you know. Now, this other person here said, this is a deceptive tactics to make people think they won't be seeing herdsmen again. One thing most people don't know is that these herdsmen invading farm with their cattle are the same terrorists that are killing Christians and kidnapping people. A ban on open grazing won't stop them. So because they do these things at night, you know, this is not even a time. Ban open grazing is not even the problem, because we are not talking about disputes in the farm. We are talking about people in the church. You go and kidnap them. We have seen them now going to schools to kidnap people, children. The recent kidnap in one of the schools in Niger State were mostly nursery school, like nursery 1, nursery 2. You can imagine what those children have not been released. So you can imagine what they are going through. Now, this other person here said there is no farmer herder conflict in Nigeria. Fulani herdsmen are full-blown terrorists and jihadists and terrorists. So we don't have farmer herders conflicts, Nigerians. Does this mean farmers can do whatever they like to any herd that they see on their farm? This person is saying, so if they come to your farm, are you free to do anything to them before they say you are going to be a kind of death penalty will be what the court will rule against you? You know what happened to Sunday Jackson. Now, this person here said this policy marks a decisive intervention in one of Nigeria's most intractable socio-economic conflict. By banning open grazing, the federal government is asserting state authority over land use and attempting to recalibrate the balance between agriculture and stakeholders, addressing decades of tension, violence, and disruption caused by clash between farmers and herders. Nigerians are still saying we don't have farmer herders clash. All we have is people who are coming from Niger, from Mali. They want to come and take over Nigeria. During the time of Buhari, Buhari gave them open border policy, free visa. You can come in and take free visa. All these things, Buhari did it just to please the Fulanis, you know, and they came in and they became Nigerians automatically. That's why you see many villages in Benue State, in Plateau State, the people there have been sacked while these Fulanis have taken over, renamed the environment, and they are living there. So guys, a whole lot is happening in this country. So Nigerians are reacting, saying that the Tinubu's government is not a serious government, that even this open grazing ban is not the problem. It's not the terrorists in the bush. This is not open grazing problem. Open farmers herders clash problem. These are people that came into the country because they are allowed to carry arms, despite the fact that it's against the constitution. They are allowed to own AK-47. They can go to people's farm and kidnap them and ask for ransom and all that. And in case you don't even know, there is a breaking news today saying that these bandits struck Kanu State, abducting about 8 women, children, and the rest of them. So the new tactics now is to abduct children. Now let me read the headline. It says, breaking news: bandits have abducted at least 8 persons, women and girls, in Biresawa village of one local government in Kano State. So this is what they are doing. This is not farmer herders clash. These are people just trying to take over Nigeria because they believe it is their right. And if you check, most of these communities in northern Nigeria, in Kano, in Kaduna, are where Christians are dominant, as in they are the most living there, or areas where you have these moderate Muslims, the real Hausas. So these Fulanis, they really want to take over. They really want to conquer Nigeria. After conquering the Hausas, they believe they should just conquer Nigeria and then let Nigeria become an Islamic state. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.
Have our own National Assembly done a corresponding, paid corresponding attention to our problems regarding insecurity? So how would you rate our National Assembly in terms of how they fared in that regard?
I think it's a monumental tragedy. It's a failure and it's an unfortunate scenario, the events of the past few days. And anybody who is a public office holder, especially the parliament, should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. This is an indictment of leadership in the country. It is almost the absence of leadership or leadership that is complicit in the misfortunes of its people. Aside the US sitting down to discuss Nigeria's security for more than 3 hours, grilling its own officials, the incidents in the country that have happened within the last few days call for deep introspection on why we spend the kind of money we spend servicing the lives of lawmakers who in a time of tragedy will rather choose to attend the defection party of a politician rather than sit to talk about the issues. To begin with, we have seen issues of the Kebbi state governor complaining about, intelligence that was given to military that was not used, and somehow military officers, security was taken out, and then somebody went there to take out some children. We heard the story from the former governor of Kaduna State accusing the current government of spending 1 billion naira on terrorists or bandits. The National Security Advisor in 2024 admitted that the weapons that are used to kill Nigerians in Plateau and other parts of the country are weapons that were stolen from government armory. Yet that same National Security Advisor has a policy, according to the former governor of Kaduna State, where there is a government policy on appeasing of terrorists, of payments of certain monies to those persons. And then there is a video interview of Dr. Usman Kofi from Katsina of when a ACP, Commissioner of Police in Katsina State, who was taking the fight to bandits, was killed by one of the bandits factions. And the leader of one of the factions, who they called Jankare, gave an instruction to the government on their so-called unfortunate peace deals that the police officers should not come in their official uniforms. But the bandit came with the uniform of the slain police officer to those so-called peace meetings. And it was not, or it is not a point of call for the National Assembly to call for an extraordinary session, begin to review what exactly is going on with these so-called peace interventions, what exactly is the level of infiltration we have between insecurity officials and security officials. Because as it is today now, Nigeria is sharing its sovereignty with known terrorists that are supposed to be known to government. So it is either of two things. It is either the terrorists have overwhelmed government or they have a political wing in government aiding and abetting this.
Very important and salient points you just raised, and the National Assembly is not here for right of reply, but I do say that in the course of our duty we did hear, or they brought up this idea of having a security retreat, and our analysts did condemn that, saying, look, it's just going to be a talk shop. That's not what you need. And also the clips of Mr. Senate President saying, who am I to respond to Donald Trump? Just to give that background. The Deputy Senate President says that the problems of the North are surmountable. But when you see that the Mr. President is giving marching orders to the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, to move to Kebbi and rescue those kids, and then he arrives in Kebbi with a private jet, and he's inspecting a guard of honor, full red carpet display, no sense of urgency, ceremonial pomp and pageantry. Does that show you the body language of a country that wants to deal with this clear and present danger, or any sense of urgency or optics? Do they even pay attention to the optics? And that's the highest level of our security architecture.
I think at this point, Nigeria should be wondering, everyone is in trouble, and Nigeria needs a quick reset. What qualifies this person to be Minister for Defense? This person we call Minister for Defense, Minister for State Defense. Bello Matawale, he's the former governor of Zamfara State. The Minister for Defense is Mohammed Abubakar Badaru, the former governor of Jigawa State. What in their backgrounds give them the capacity to lead these ministries, especially at a time like this? I mean, this particular person who is, Minister for State Defense had his state almost overrun by terrorists as a governor. It was part of why he failed hopelessly in being re-elected into the State House as a governor. And the president shopped around. And when you ask, they will say, oh, they have had ministers of defense who were military persons, but it did not make a difference. Then the question will be, so if you have tried many doctors and it did not work, so you should probably employ a carpenter. So that is where Nigeria is. So if you look at the body language of the president, the question will be, does the president understand the implication of security to the well-being of the nation? That is the primary responsibility of every government to protect life and property. Look at the kind of security and the kind of pomp and circumstance that the Minister of Defense, who is going to a state where children were abducted, this is what our public office. So we spend money, government will create a problem, pretend to be solving the problem, and in that pretense in solving the problem, even use more of taxpayer money for their own good. So across board, it is just a show of recklessness and irresponsibility. And the painful part or the unfortunate part is Nigerians or innocent lives are paying for these decisions or inactions.
All right. I mean, you've been tagged as the voice of conscience for Nigerians, especially the youths, in terms of what's going on in the National Assembly. Can we rightly say that the reform bill that you've also been pushing has been put on hold right now, and the focus has been on insecurity? How do you think this would in any way derail the chances of having a reform bill? Because whether we like it or not, lives are more important.
Yes.
But are you certain that this would not last longer into 2026, therefore affecting whatever electoral reforms that is being pushed?
Sir, what stops or what makes it impossible for everything to run concurrently? What is the job of the National Assembly? Lawmaking. This is why we spend more than 350 billion servicing the lives of 109 senators and 360 House of Reps members. In the US, when you see that there is a crisis or insane crimes where public office holders know that they are beholden to the people, people are ready to work extra time. The National Assembly can decide to meet on Saturday and Sunday, then decide the allowances that they take. So there is no part in taking one and leaving the other, because the risk is that in the spite of all of the tragedy that is going on, do not think that Nigerian politicians are not ready to rig themselves back into power in 2027. So in fact, the major focus on holding accountable these persons is to ensure that by 2027, if you cannot change or get the persons who are there to do the right thing, then change them to get people who are efficient. So we must put our eye on the ball. How many days does it take for you to someone to have a hearing on insecurity? How long does it take to invite service chiefs to have an overhaul of the architecture of the Nigerian security? How long does it take? It is all planned because there is no political will to solving these problems. So you see it continue to drag. How many hours did it take for the US Congress to sit and talk about Nigeria's insecurity? So will they not move to other things? They had the government shut down recently. They have issues of media and all of that is going on in the US, and it holds concurrently. But in Nigeria, it is like Z World. It is extraordinary every day.
One thing at a time.
You caught me off guard with this Z World reference. But if you say that the National Assembly, that what they've done so far can be referred to as a monumental failure.
Yes.
When we talk about checks and balances, each of the arm of government should check the powers and the excesses of the others. So the executive, the judiciary, the legislature. Who then holds this legislative arm to account?
The people who are supposed to hold them accountable, it is almost impossible to do because that framework is not there. Where is the recall process for National Assembly members? The last time we saw a recall was when they were trying to, Senator Natasha, where within 2 days they gathered more than 200,000 votes. Meanwhile, the votes that took the woman there were less than 60 or 70,000. Meaning it is easier to recall in Kogi than to vote and choose your leader. So unfortunately, it does not even matter the other arms. The National Assembly is the institution that has the principal right to oversight. But unfortunately, the current 10th National Assembly has been converted into an APC town hall, where you see when the president goes to present his budget, the person who leads the chant upon their mandate they shall fall is the Senate leadership. So you see an institution that is supposed to, when the Senate president came at first, he was brandishing the cap that carried the insignia of the president, the executive arm of government. It was when there was public outcry, they had to pretend to take it out. And when the president came, and guess what was the president's response? You all are re-elected. That was what the president said. A group of persons who have a country that is in extreme and multi-dimensional poverty, where sovereignty is shared between commander-in-chief and terrorists. And you see lawmakers sitting down, interested in more of partying. If this government has invested the time they used in politicking, trying to put every governor or politician into turning Nigeria to a one-party state, if the president and the government invested half of that time into security, they would have done better.
I want us to talk, let's veer off a little, now that you've mentioned this on your mandate to stand, because every time when you bring it up. It feels like we're making too much noise about something that shouldn't be a big deal. Recently, at the
judicial,
exactly the body of benches inauguration, right? When they were having that event, the "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand" anthem was being sung as opposed to the national anthem, and the judges were being attacked for rising. And I said, I remember saying here that what did you expect the judges to do? If the president comes in, there's no way they will be sitting. It is the army, the music team in charge of the day, the band,
the brigade of guards.
Yes, they were the ones that played that. So who should be responsible, especially because this has been a constant conversation? Do you think maybe the president addressed this, or the Bayo Nonuga, or those within his team, his SSAs, give a firm order that in public events only the national anthem should be sung?
If the box falls squarely at the president's desk, President Tinubu should look himself in the mirror and ask if he is more interested in politics or governance. What exactly is that anthem that is sung to the president at whatever function? Does that replace the country's anthem? They changed the former anthem within a space of how many hours to a new anthem? We thought they were so beholden to the anthem. So how come a political campaign song replaces a leader's entrance, even while governance? There should be a time for politics and there should be a time for governance. All of the issues that are going on today are not 1/10 of what happened under the Jonathan administration, where the same President Tinubu called for his resignation. He said the ball stops at the president table. This calls him to question the capacity of Jonathan to govern or to protect the lives of citizens. Look at President Tinubu. We thought immediately he took power, he would teach Jonathan how it should be done. This is where we are today, where the governor of the home state of the vice president is declaring prayer and fasting for terrorists. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, having spent billions in servicing terrorists and in trying to see how they can get peace deals. In 2025, the governor of a state is declaring fasting and prayer. Maybe they should also involve NSPPD. They can also involve any other day experience. They can also attend to see how they can get people, to handle this issue of insecurity. Since it is more spiritual than we think.
Does not exist. Let's talk about, I would like our producers to put up the tweet looking at the president's statement rather on the release of on the recovery or release otherwise, depending on which context of the school children that were released. There you go. That's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's statement. It says, "My fellow Nigerians, you will recall that I cancelled my trip to the G20 summit in South Africa to enable me coordinate the security efforts at home." That reeks of, it deserves a round of applause, and you need to appreciate me for that. Thanks to the efforts of our security forces over the last few days, all 38 worshippers abducted in Eruku, Kwara State have been rescued. That's one. Security forces, one. I'm equally happy that 51 out of the missing students of the Catholic school in Niger State have been recovered. I'm closely monitoring this security situation nationwide and receiving continuous updates from the front.
Before you go ahead, just confirm how many of the missing students? We don't have
exactly
one out of the missing students.
I mean, the Catholic, there was a statement yesterday that they're about 300, and that was missing in the president's statement. So it's not yet to Huru. We still have a number, quite a huge number of students that are still in the den of kidnappers. My question to you, Peter, is do we deserve to know how this rescues happened, or we're asking too much as Nigerians? So if a ransom payment has been made, if it was coordinated security efforts, do we have a right to know the details as Nigerians?
As a citizen watching this statement from my commander-in-chief, I feel more despondent. I feel it is more unfortunate than for someone to even rejoice over. The first line talking about not going for the G20 summit, the question would be, what was Mr. President going to do at the G20 summit? What has all the foreign trips between 2023 and today, what has it brought to Nigeria? If we do not have anything that, brings value to the country, I think the government of the day should sit back at home and fix this country. Secondly, we talked about what is the meaning of that statement or that line where they say the 51 children from Niger have been recovered. What is recovery? Because they can't put out a statement and say they escaped. President said they were recovered, like missing items that were found somewhere. I don't know this kind of calisthenics with government. How many exactly were the children that were taken from Niger State?
It's missing in that statement.
How many of them are missing in this statement? The so-called, release of the persons or captives from Kwara State, what exactly went on? Imagine hearing a statement from the president where your commander-in-chief tells you that in the operation to release these 38 people. We had so brigade of, command led by this person who took the fight to this person. They suppressed or neutralized the persons and were able to gallantly take back our citizens.
said it this morning.
Imagine the pride with which you will listen or read such information.
Project strength.
Project strength and capacity. That is what a U.S. president will do when he says that their military will go in here at a time and place that is convenient to them.
So does this infer maybe that there might have been some deals that were not?
That is the problem, because if that kind of statement is not clearly spelled out on what went out, it might seem that we have even more problem or questions to answer. Was money paid for this? Are we still trying to refinance or strengthen the capacity of this same? Look at what terrorists are doing on social media. Within the last few days, have you looked at the social media space?
TikTok.
I think that Nigerians, almost everywhere, meaning Nigeria, apart from politicians who created the problem and the terrorists, need to go for rehab or some sort of therapy.
We are all traumatized.
Traumatized.
Okay, so now what would we say should be the legislative instrument that the National Assembly should build to hold the executive to account, to make sure that the executive does what they would do? President Bola Tinubu in his statement has said that every Nigerian deserves security and he will not relent. He will ensure that he guarantees that. So how should the National Assembly react to this going forward?
When the President Tinubu realized that all Nigerians deserve security, I don't know when he did that anyway, but the actions within the past 2 years, counting going to 3 years, have not proven that they prioritize security. Because part of the problem will be even the National Office of the National Security Advisor. For the first time in a country, it seems like the president outsourced issues of insecurity to the Office of National Security Advisor, and the president is more interested in politicking. I'm wondering why a state of emergency was declared in Rivers State, and up till today there is no state of emergency in any part of the north. And then when it comes to the 10th National Assembly, I think that this National Assembly is helpless in its own way. It is almost impossible for them to live up to whatever expectation, because every instrument that should be wielded as an institution for oversight has been buried with politicking. Therefore, there is even no bar. The only capacity this National Assembly have is to be a money point assembly, to approve loans without inquiry, approve loans without any commensurate investigation. I think the only place that National Assembly have not approved loans for this government is money point and Pampi. Because those, when they borrow from, like you borrow from fair money, you clear Kuda. That is what they have the capacity to do. And it's unfortunate. If Nigerians want anything to change, it must become a citizens' movement and a citizen demand. Nigerians, this is an opportunity for everybody that is well-meaning to come together and mobilize. First of all, to know that we need to put pressure to solve the current issue. And by 2027, to liberate ourselves. Because as it is today now, the APC is not just bad government, it is an affliction.
Now, Peter, over the weekend, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Egbetokun, did issue a statement saying that because of the times we're in, unprecedented times, he's ordered the withdrawal of special protection
that
units.
Is about the 110
from VIPs, because we find some policemen holding bags, even at the Wadata Plaza the other day, we saw members of the Special Forces Intelligence Response Team. It's just like a Navy SEAL Team 6. They were fighting or preventing people. They were in that picture in the Wadata Plaza. What do you make of this decision, which is coming at the umpteenth? I mean, we've lost count of it. He said that's the withdrawal a few times, like you rightly mentioned, and they've also banned the checkpoints too. So most IGs do that, but the reality is different.
Okay, maybe anybody can run a quick check and go to any government house or any public office holder's office today and know, so that we can do on the spot assessment.
Or celebrity.
Or any celebrity. Because in Nigeria today, even a Yahoo boy, if you have some cash, you can get. We have seen pictures of so-called, whatever, going to public functions, and you can take like 4 or 5 mopo. They will even help you carry your cash, open your bag for you, carry madam's purse and all of that. The question is, is the Nigerian security outfit structured to protect the people or to protect the elite? It is up to all of us to decide exactly what we call, and that is why a time like this calls for deep conversations on what the National Assembly can do. Imagine talking about what exactly state policing should be able to do at this point. Imagine governors coming together to say, is it a time to really have true federalism, for us to decentralize this power and then see how security at the state level or local level can be strengthened? These are the conversations we should have. According to the former IG of police, the late Solomon Arase, out of the about 370 or so thousand police officers we have, more than 200,000 are drafted to protect these persons that the IG is talking about.
So what's left for policing?
Could that be the more reason why the president has also agreed to that these police officers should therefore be moved into the field to protect the people. And by the way, they said they're going to replace them with NSCDC forces. And these ones would have, the ones with rifle will be now switched to protect the elite. Doesn't make any change, because if you're going to take the NSCDC officers are also needed to...
They have the role that they play constitutionally. So are we robbing Peter to pay Paul, or what are we trying to make of it? In all of this that is going on, if Nigerians or the Nigerian leadership take issues of insecurity or security seriously, is there no need for an overhaul of the entire security architecture? Instead of talking about pulling these persons from here to come and put here, to pull these persons from here to come and make up for this part of it. I think at all levels, we are just displaying a level of irresponsibility or incapacitation to handle issues, especially with seriousness that they demand.
I mean, look at the data. IGP is ordering withdrawal of police from VIP.
Yes.
It feels like every time we have a new IG, the next thing is they're announcing the withdrawal of VIP.
Removal of checkpoints.
Order removal of checkpoints.
And nothing ever really happens. You know, we hear these orders, but it just feels like orders that are backed without authority. I want us to now come to this is 2003, Tafa Balogun. These are lists from 2003 to 2023 of IGPs that have ordered withdrawal release from VIP. Yet, this dirty December, we see them in full force.
And even IGP Egbetokun, the current IG, this is not the first time.
No, each of them, they just put the bullet points. Each of them ordered those withdrawals at least 3 or 4 times. Each of the IGs, they are just highlighting.
Is it an exercise in futility when you know that these orders will not be carried out?
I don't know, but I also feel that we can also look at it from this aspect. I mean, like I said, you've strongly been what they've tagged as the voice of conscience for the people. Well, let's also look at it. The police officers also need to survive.
Yes.
And according to what is being said, once they are attached, an attaché or so to an elite, they earn more. They are taken care of more. I mean, you've seen where even
their uniforms and appearance.
Exactly. The elite who they are attached to, sometimes these ones take up the role of taking care of their own family.
Almost all of the time.
School fees of the children and so on and so forth. So this withdrawal alarm that has been sounded again, has the police been able to put things in place that would take care of them? So that they would eventually focus and do the job?
They might very good question.
They might be missing those VIP.
That is the statement. Are the officers ready to withdraw?
Good.
The officers who you want to withdraw, are they in the frame of mind to withdraw? When you take somebody from a place where the person is having a field day, which one is easier? And then again, in all seriousness and with all sense of responsibility, the military is being accused by a sitting governor of having taken an intelligence and somehow compromised on it in Kebbi State. So is it just an issue of moving officers, or there is a fundamental problem within the security agencies itself? What happened with the sabotage? What happened with the investigation from Yelewata? How many meters was a military checkpoint when the persons came in and carried out that massacre? What were the officers who were there said to have done? So if you are moving police from here to, is it what the military could not do that the Nigerian police will do? What exactly are you putting as the framework to ensure that moving them brings efficiency? Is it just moving people?
Exactly.
People who have become very, satisfied with the kind of life they live with, following, that is why an officer can be okay to hold Madam's purse or even go to a buffet and take. We saw the video of a former Nigeria's ambassador where her police officer did not only hold her purse, he went to take food on her behalf and brought to serve Madam.
They'll even help you wear your sandals.
Adjust whatever, do school runs for you.
Very, very.
So what is the political will to make law enforcement become truly law enforcement?
I want to take the conversation. I want to take the conversation slightly to a slightly different, sensitive area. As we talk about insecurity, how important is the issue of genocide in the conversation about insecurity, especially as we've seen in the U.S. That was an argument, a huge argument that happened within the U.S. Congress live hearing. Recently, movie director Daniel Ette put out a movie, The Herd. It has caused serious issues on
still ongoing online.
People are arguing. While some are saying this is a reflection of our current reality, and they're applauding him for being bold. There are others who are saying, oh, it's framing the North in a negative light. So it's generated conversation. So how important is that conversation about genocide?
I wish that the northern part of the country will be as angry as they are about these nuances against terrorists themselves than against persons who try to portray whatever picture that is ongoing. If there is no, look at the hypocrisy in what we are talking about. The US president said, oh, there is a Christian genocide. The Nigerian government, our response was that, look, you are not even saying it as bad as it is. It's not only Christians. They are killing Muslims, they are killing pagans, traditional, everybody is being killed. The US president said, okay, go fast and take out the terrorists, move quickly. Or we will come guns a-blazing, the statement of President Donald Trump. Now the question will be, if everybody agrees that people are being killed, who has the problem with taking out the killers? So people begin to protest against the US position, not against the persons who you agree that are killing you. There is a fundamental problem with such a system. So whether you want to call it genocide or massacre or whatever it is, do we have a consensus that it should end? And that, so when you now see certain religious leaders or traditional leaders from the part of the North come out to take a position that seems to tacitly give support to the terrorists, then we have more problem than we think we have. We have seen statements from people like Sheikh Gumi and all of them on social media. When you come and tell people how, oh, you see, bandits are just taking children for kidnapping them, not to kill them, but for ransom. That, you know, these people are your brothers and this. Where exactly is the northern rage against terrorism? Where are the northern elites, the northern traditional leaders, religious leaders? Where is the rage against terrorism? Under the Jonathan administration, there were reports that have been verified. Curses were being laid on the government and the president in religious houses. Today, a governor is saying we should declare prayer and fasting for the bandits. The tables have turned. So are we a serious people who value human life? In 2025, we are talking about having peace deal with terrorists, and the people who are drafting the terms and conditions are the terrorists. We cannot be a serious country.
Very important questions you raised. Now, just before we begin to wrap up the conversation, you're one who interfaces with ordinary Nigerians. What would you say to citizens who feel abandoned by their representatives in Abuja that and feel a sense of hopelessness that nothing has been done? Because schools have abruptly closed down. They have, instead of dealing with the issue, they've decided to, you know, withdraw the kids, to let them come home because of the incessant insecurity. Senator Ned Munir Nwoko last year introduced a bill in the Nigerian Senate to amend the Firearms Act and allow civilians to own and carry firearms for self-defense. The bill proposes a stringent regulatory framework to ensure only qualified law-abiding citizens can obtain a license. Would you suggest we go this way in terms of self-defense? You look at a country like the United States of America, the gun rights is a big deal. It's almost like life and death. Have we reached, if Abuja cannot guarantee the security of my life and my family's life, at least pump action can, do the job?
As good as some of, these kind of ideas may sound, the question will be, imagine a scenario like this, where we are not even able to control small and light arms proliferation, and even the arms, now that it is only restricted to government, this is what we have. Imagine when it is uhuru for everybody, then it becomes survival of the fittest. So you can just wake up and somebody should just wake up and take down about how many persons, because we know that it has become any place where there is no accountability and there is no control.
We're not right for it.
It is lawlessness across board. So for Nigerians who will be feeling hopelessness is not an option of becoming despondent, because being frustrated about a system does not insulate you from being a victim of that system. The persons in Iruku in Kwara State were probably not even paying attention to government. They were in a church. They were having some service, preaching. So you might, where 2 or 3 are gathered, 4 or 5 others will take F-47 can scatter them now. That is where Nigeria has reached. So as Nigerians, we should be thinking of, no matter how long oppression may have lasted over a people, if a majority say enough, it will be enough. And for how long do you fight for freedom if you are under oppression? For as long as it takes. The journey to nationhood or to an egalitarian society is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The problem with Nigeria is that we are always unable to convert pain into passion, to take steps to emancipate ourselves. So when a lot is thrown at us, we become despondent, we become lethargic. It gives opportunity to the political class to continue in their malfeasance.
Or if we're not despondent or lethargic, what we then do is we try to start adjusting.
Yes.
To
and we started adjusting.
Yes.
Have you seen the adverts for travel this dirty December. Highest buses, bulletproof buses.
Bulletproof buses.
We are adjusting.
You know, there is no light, you get inverter, get generator. There's no security, employee vigilante. There is now issues of killings, get bulletproof vans. Once you continue to take a second layer of protection for yourself and refuse to hold government accountable, you are just, I mean.
Just to wrap things up, the president has said he's listening. And whether we like it or not, he has mentioned that he had to cancel the G20 event just to ensure that he focuses on the insecurity challenges. Yesterday, he had called the service chiefs into a meeting. They all met. It is part of the communique that came out from that meeting that saw the withdrawal of police officers who are attached to VIPs. But I want us to see a video. Let's see what the Chief of Army Staff also had to say about that meeting they had yesterday. Very, very insightful, but let's get to watch.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you recall what the happenings in our country currently and the fact that Mr. President actually cancelled his trip to the AU and the G2 summit in South Africa in order to focus on the issues back at home. And we're just coming out from the situation room currently, whereby the president actually chaired that meeting and also brief him on some of the things that have been happening since this unfortunate incident has happened in the country. Presently, we are receiving very good positive news from that, from Kwara State, where the entire 38 people that were abducted have been reunited with their families. And progress is also made from Niger State, whereby we have 51 of those students that have now reunited with their families. For Kebbi State, our efforts are also yielding positive results. Progress is being made substantially in that aspect. And all security forces are still deployed there, cordon of the whole general area, whereby we expect that we'll have some also news from that general area. During the directive meeting with Mr. President, he also made mention of the fact that, or made certain pronouncements and give certain directives, which actually concerns the police, and I believe that the IG will also make that public.
That's the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Waidu Shaibu. So
Lieutenant
that
General.
Statement, I mean, most times referred to as that as well, but I think with what he said, we can now build confidence that as we look forward to the end, there's hope at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, you build confidence.
You don't look that, no, but that's what he said after the meeting.
Why was the former
Chief of Army
service chief
Staff
taken out?
Chief of Intelligence, there's also, I mean, the IGP was there, everybody,
Chief of
security,
Staff,
all of them, they were there.
How many times have they been there? They always go there now. That is part of the routine to meet with the Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces. The problem or the question is, does the government have the political will and capacity? Mr. Hassan, where is the list of Boko Haram or terrorist sponsors that the government claimed to know about, beginning even from the Buhari administration? Who is shielding known terrorists or terrorist sponsors and financiers? So all of these kind of statements and platitudes, for how long do we want to continue in this direction? The appeal to be to President Tinubu, look, Mr. President, God has been good to you. A former governor, former senator, national leader, your wife a 3-time senator. It has come to a point where we should realize that the destiny and the moving forward of Nigeria is more important than any political ambition that you may have. Between now and 2027, the president should forget about whatever second-term ambition, focus on holding Nigeria together that this country does not degenerate, hand it back over to the hands of competent persons who will stop the bleeding and begin the healing. Let us begin to rein on the national security and get security officials who are interested in defense and not the politics of defense. The ministers of defense are politicians, and if you know that these persons are unable to deliver, let the commander-in-chief be seen to be commander-in-chief of armed forces and not a commander-in-chief who is ready to sit and share sovereignty of a country with terrorists. It is unfortunate.
It really is unfortunate. I remember when the governor of Zamfara State, Governor Dauda Lawal, said he knows where the terrorists
We know where they are. We know their family. He will finish them.
You know. Nigerians just want to be able to have a safe and a secure country. There are many.
So guys, Nigerians are just wondering, how long is the Tinubu's government going to continue to play with the lives of its citizens? there's no seriousness in government. You see how it is the USA that came to, to make us wake up. Now, there is a breaking news here that says all the 24 Kebbi school girls fully accounted for, no one left behind. So they've released all the 20. This is really a disgrace to this country, a very big disgrace. Finally, the 24 school girls that were kidnapped from Kebbi State have all been released. So guys, this is what is happening in Nigeria. Oh my God, what are we seeing here? What are we seeing here? What are we seeing here? You can imagine how the Tinubu's government allows this kind of carnage to happen, and Tinubu is silent. In the midst of all these things, Tinubu is silent. Anyway, so the 24 school girls from Kebbi State who were kidnapped by these terror guys have all been released. Now, to the next headline, it says, short National Assembly until President Tinubu does the right thing. The country is running on blood and tears. Farmers can't go to the farm. Traders can't not go to the market. Worshippers can't go to church or mosques. This APC rep he's even wearing Ashwaju's cap, but he says shut down the country until Tinubu does the right thing. I think this is the first time I'm seeing an APC person coming out boldly to say this, Can you see? This is a man that has like how many wives? He's not saying the truth too. He said that the country should be shut down until the Tinubu's government begin to do the right thing. So guys, a whole lot is happening in this country, It's good they begin to speak up, because guess what? If you don't speak up, who do you expect to do it for you? You have to. You have to speak up. You have to know that the country is on fire. Like the Tinubu's government recently said they want to withdraw security from all these people. So if they withdraw security from all these politicians, you know what that means? People have even welcomed it that would be the best. That would be the best, so that the country can start paying attention to what ordinary citizens are going through. Because if they don't do it, the citizens will not know what is happening. So breaking news, 24 kidnapped school girls from Kebbi State are now free. 24 school girls from Kebbi State are now free after how many days in captivity? What a shame. What a big shame. Ben Carlo proposes penalty for government officials who negotiate ransom. Death penalty. These people like to just talk. They can't even implement anything. They just like to talk. We will use madness to cure madness. Makinde once against rigging 2027 election. Use madness to cure madness. Anyway, we just the watch on her. Use madness to cure madness. So guys, a whole lot is happening in this country. What is happening? May God really save us. So guys, let me know your thought on all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.